Alright, in this video we're going to look at how strong the hulls need to be, or specifically how much impact resistance can they withstand before they break. So I'm going to do some destructive testing. I have some various pieces of sample hulls and that I made up, and I'm going to hit them with the hammer and see which ones work best. Alright, let's find out. Before I start putting together the hulls and the keels and everything, I want to actually test various, planking methods or fiberglassing methods to see which one is going to be the strongest. So I have 4 sections here that I've drawn out on this 6mm marine plywood, and they're each going to be about 7 inches square. And on one of them, I'm going to just put a couple layers of 1708 fiberglass. On another one, I'm going to double the two up and put a couple layers of 1708 fiberglass. So this will be a total of 12mm thick. And on the final one, I'm going to put the Western red cedar and then also a couple layers of 1708 fiberglass. And then use some type of impact, maybe with a hammer, and see which of these holds up the best. Here is the plan. So I've cut the 6mm plywood. This is 6mm thick. I've cut this into 4 pieces, roughly 7 inches square. And on one of them, I'm going to leave it as is. I'll coat it with fiberglass, but it'll be by itself. On another one, I'm going to double it up. So I'm going to take 2 pieces of the plywood for a total of 12mm. And on another one, I'm going to cover it in this Western red cedar, which is about a 1/2 inch thick. So this one will be covered in that. All 3 of these will get 2 layers of 1708 fiberglass. So this is, on one side, it's 17 ounces of, what that means is if it was a square yard, it would weigh 17 ounces. So this is 17 ounces of biaxial fiberglass, which means that the grains of the glass are running at 45 degrees that way and 45 degrees this way. And on the back is 8 ounces of chopped strand mat. So that means that the fibers are going all different directions. So each of these will get 2 layers of 1708 fiberglass. And then the idea is I'm going to do a blunt impact test with this hammer with the blunt edge. So I'm going to hit this as hard as I can in the middle and see if it pokes a hole in this. And assuming that succeeds and we don't completely poke a hole with it, I'm going to do a sharp puncture test with this chisel and see what type of damage a sharp impact will have on these. So the idea is that for the above water line, I'm going to have the hull sides doubled up, and for the below water line, I'm going to have it covered in or planked with this Western red cedar. And I want to compare that with just a baseline of a single piece of 6mm plywood to see how each of these compares with this one. Alright, so I have the pieces to be tested here, and all of these have been curing for several days now, so they should be completely cured. And let's see what happens. I put it up on a couple 2x4s here, and we're going to hit it first with a hammer. I'll probably start out with a light tap first, and then maybe get a little heavier and see what happens. Alright, so here's the first impact test. Yeah, there's nothing there. Alright, well let me just hit that a little harder. That had absolutely no effect at all on that. So let me grab it with both hands and hit it harder. Alright, so there was no impact. I see no curvature, but I do see a mark here on this. Let me see if I can hit this one more time, maybe a little harder. Okay, and we did break through. So that was a very hard hit, but yeah, that definitely broke through. I don't know if the first one weakened it or not, but 2 hits is all it took to break through with that. Let's see if there's anything here with the impact. Let me try this with the chisel. Let me try this at a slightly different point. I'm going to turn it the other way now. And I see a little bit, there is a mark, and there is a little bit of delamination right underneath that mark. Let me try it at a slightly different spot, maybe a little harder. Would help if I hit it. And yeah, we're getting some delamination. That seems to be holding, but yeah, it is able to mark it. I'm more worried about the hammer impact though, because that definitely broke the wood. Okay, so let's see on the doubled up piece if we get any type of similar results or what happens with this. Oh, the other thing to mention is that this probably would be stronger if I'd glassed the back of this. I'm purposefully not glassing the back. I want to see how this holds up with just one side being glassed, but that definitely would have improved the strength had there been glass in the back of this. Alright, so let's try this impact test with 2 layers of 6mm plywood and 2 pieces of 1708 fiberglass. I'm just going to hit this one as hard as I can. Okay, so we definitely got some delamination. I don't see any sign of breakage. Let's try it again with another hit. Okay, so this definitely, oh, I see some cracking. So 2 hits on this one, and it's already started to crack as well. So this is 12 mils of plywood with 1708. It withstood 2 hits with the blunt hammer, and it is cracking now already. So I'm not going to do the, well, I guess I can. Sure, why not? Let's do this one. We'll probably get similar results. Well, let's see. Yeah, so there is a little bit of delamination and there is a mark. But I think this one was done for with 2 hits of the hammer. Alright, so on to the final test. This is what I'm planning on using under the waterline. Now I'm also purposefully putting this between the boards without any support, so there's no box support, so it is weaker and can bend along this axis. And in this case also, I'm putting the the western red cedar going this way. So it is going to be weaker this way than, you know, if I was to try to test this like this, I think this would be a much stronger setup. So we're going to go with the weakest setup we have and go like this. And again, let's go with one hit and see what happens. I was a little bit off to the side. We're getting some delamination. I see nothing on the back. Let's try another hit. Maybe I can hit a little bit more on the center this time. Okay, so nothing on the back. Let's go for a third hit. I don't see any type of bending or anything like that. Let's go with the fourth hit. I hit that one pretty hard and it flew up there. Again, no breakage on the back here. That's with 4 hits. Let's go with 5. And we're getting some delamination, no breakage, completely flat. I mean, I would say this is still holding up. If this was hit like this 5 times that hard, it's definitely repairable. Let's go with one more time. Let's go with 6 hits and see what happens. Hey, I think we have a winner. We have 6 hits. This is what I plan on putting under the water line, mainly to protect the boat if it, you know, was to run into maybe a log or who knows what it would run into. I think this is going to work. Okay, so that is all for the destructive tests.